Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do kind of like a houseplant tour of sorts, but only a portion of my collection. Last year, Nick Pledgy, I'm hoping that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, Nick, if I'm mispronouncing it. He did a series on his channel where he showed you like all of his pink plants and then all of his like I think silver plants or whatever. I thought that was a great idea to show you just like a portion of my collection, and therefore the video won't be like an hour long. So I'm basically just going to copy his idea today. So let's get into it. Okay, so I think that we should begin with all of the Scindapsus pictus because I think those are the most common silvery plant. I have 3 different varieties. There are multiple. This is the most common variety. I genuinely cannot pronounce the name of this. Scindapsus pictus argyris. I genuinely cannot say that word. I don't know how it's pronounced. I've mispronounced it in every single video, so someone tell me how to say it. But this is also known as the silver pothos, even though it's not a pothos. It's pretty common. It's also apparently a shingling plant if you give it something to shingle on. I temporarily tried it with a section of this plant. It kind of worked, but it didn't look that great because the shingling pattern wasn't very condensed. So I ended up just putting it back into soil. So I have a portion of this plant in a different container. This is really quite easy to take care of and it's quite a fast grower as well. I just have it in my chunky soil mix that most of my plants are in. I let it dry completely all the way through. That's why I love these clear containers so that I can see when it's dry all the way through. Fertilize with fish fertilizer, pretty much diluted to half strength every time I water in the summer. I didn't dilute it or I didn't fertilize at all in the winter time. It seems pretty happy so far. I might propagate some more soon so that I could fill out the pot a little bit because it's looking a little sparse on top. Okay, let's look at another variety of Scindapsus pictus. This is Scindapsus pictus exotica, and immediately you can see the difference in the size of the leaves. These leaves are quite large compared to these. That's the size difference right there. And then the pattern on these are much more silver than the other ones. Look at that. That's like mainly silver versus green. I find that these actually also grow pretty quickly. I had a bigger pot of this, but I split it recently because I'm going to be sending one of my followers a section of this plant. And I have 2 leaves that are coming out right now. Currently trying to unfurl. I think this one is also a very quick grower. I take care of it pretty much the exact same way I take care of this. I repotted it recently, so now it's also in my chunky soil mix. But before it was in just like the mix that the nursery put it in. And so I was watering that one considerably less than I was watering this one. But now that it's in the same soil mix, I'm sure that this one will need a little bit more water as well. And then the last variety of Scindapsus I have, or Scindapsus pictus I have, this is Scindapsus pictus silvery Ann. So the leaf size is much more comparable to the regular Scindapsus pictus, but the difference is in the pattern. So how you can tell if it's a silvery Ann is that first the silver will go all around the border and then the silver markings will be condensed to mostly the tip. So like the first half of the leaf will be mostly silver while the bottom half has less silver, like so, versus the regular where the pattern is much more evenly splotchy throughout. So yeah, I really want the one that's called the Scindapsus Silver Splash, I think it's called. It's the leaf size is similar to the Exotica, but the markings on the leaf looks like watercolor. I think it's really pretty. So I think that if I'm gonna buy another one, that will be the next one I buy. I guess to keep along the lines of Scindapsus, this is also a Scindapsus. This is Scindapsus Cherry Moonlight. It's probably my favorite silver plant that I own. Look at that. I think it's so pretty. I love this leaf shape. I love the way it looks. I think it's perfect. I have heard that this is kind of a harder plant to grow, and it prefers a little bit of a cooler climate. I named mine Luna. I haven't had this for that long. I got it at the end of January. It's been living inside of my greenhouse, which usually the temperature of that is like high 60s, low 70s, but most of my plants have low 60s, high 70s because they're indoors. The humidity inside the greenhouse is pretty high. It's usually around high 80s to low 90s. So I don't know, it's growing, so I guess it's working. There's a new growth point right now. There's going to be a new leaf soon, which I'm very excited about. But I have heard that this is kind of a harder variety of Scindapsus to grow. I do have my eyes on the dark form of the Scindapsus Cherry, but actually I think I like this version a little bit better. The dark form, it's darker, but it doesn't really look quite silver. It looks just like kind of like a dark green gray, which is very cool. But yeah. Okay, so moving on. I don't know if this is technically a silver plant, but it looks silvery to me, so I'm gonna consider it a silver plant. This is a watermelon Peperomia. The name is obvious because it looks like a watermelon. These are a bunch of cuttings I took off of a plant that was gifted to me. These are very easy to propagate, and you can take a stem cutting and stick in water and they'll start to root. Or you can also cut up the leaf, and you cut the leaf this way, and then you put the cut line into soil. It will also root. I put some of the leaf into soil and I don't see any roots on the soil ones yet, but these ones definitely have a little bit of a root. I'm seeing like tiny baby roots on this, so hopefully I will have some of these to share pretty soon. I don't know, I feel like I just don't really know how to grow these yet. They don't look particularly happy in my care, the like mother plant of this one that I took these cuttings from, so I'm very happy I took the cuttings, because I don't know if like the mother plant just doesn't look that happy right now, but I'm gonna just leave it alone, see what happens. There you go. And then with Peperomias, you can tell when they're thirsty when the leaves are super pliable, and you should probably wait until the leaves are pliable before you water them. Alright, we're almost to the end. This is going to be a very quick video. I only have 2 more plants that are silvery, and they're both philodendrons. So the next one is a very obvious choice. This is a Philodendron hastatum, or a Philodendron silver sword. I bought this plant locally, but isn't that so pretty? This is a good leaf. I haven't had great success growing this plant because if you look, these leaves are quite deformed. So this leaf is like super deformed. This leaf was stuck to this caterpillar right here when I first got it, so I literally had to unstick it. And how you know a leaf is stuck is that if it hasn't moved at all after over 2 weeks in your care. And so it hadn't moved after 2 weeks, so I had to basically get it unstuck. And I used, whose video it is? I think it was Amanda Ray White's video, but someone has a video on how to unstick leaves. I'll make sure to link it in the description down below. But basically how you do it, the best way is you try to peel back these edges where the leaf will be coming out of to get the leaf unstuck. So as soon as I did that, the leaf unfurled within a day or two, but it's severely deformed from being stuck, obviously. And then this leaf, it was already trying to kind of like, so this leaf came out of this right here. I heard that once the plant matures slightly, the growth pattern changes from growing out of an existing leaf to having its own, I can't remember the correct term for this right now, but its own like shaft. And so this was already in the shaft when I got it, and I didn't have to unstick this one, but it did kind of end up unfurling, kind of deformed and funky looking, which is a shame. So I'm considering actually chopping this plant and getting rid of the deformed leaf. I don't know, I'm not committed to that idea yet, but I think that would probably be a good idea since there are 2 leaves back to back that are deformed. I don't know. Like, I'm not really against like my plants being imperfect. It's just that both of these leaves are like severely deformed and they don't even look like silvery. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. Tell me if I should cut off these leaves or not. So yeah. Okay. The last leaf, or the last plant. The last plant is quite new to me. I've only gotten very recently. This is a Philodendron brandy. Look at that leaf. I love how high contrast the markings on this leaf is. Focus. So I did repot it. I got it from Gabriella Plants, and I did repot it into my mix because their mix has like a very high like peat moss ratio, and I don't like it. I like my plants to be in very, very chunky, well draining mixes. And this leaf unfurled recently, and it's just so small. As you can see, like both of these leaves right here that are new are like a lot smaller than these existing leaves. So I feel like it's just like a time and maturity thing, but it kind of sucks that these are so small. I'm hoping that the next one, or that this one, will be a little bit bigger as it kind of finishes unfurling and finishes developing. But if it doesn't, I don't know, I might chop and propagate. Chopping and propagating doesn't really make the leaves bigger, but it would give me more stems in the pot. So yeah, I don't know. I also don't really know if this is a climber. I don't really see a lot of people put these on moss poles, but let me know if I'm wrong and if I should put it on a moss pole, because if it is a climber, then putting it on a moss pole would definitely make the leaf bigger, because I would like some bigger leaves on that. So yeah. Alright, so those are pretty much all of my silver plants. Let me know what you think down in the description below. Are there any silver plants I'm missing that I need to have in my life? Let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!